Imagine taking strides towards your fitness goals. You're on a roll, and then you face an unexpected resistance. It is not coming from within, like we talk mindset stuff here, but it comes from those around you. Today, we're going to talk about kind of one of these. It's an impactful, but not really talked about aspect of health and people's fitness journeys, and it's dealing with naysayers, or the people that maybe intentionally or not not intentionally try to sabotage your goals. And so a lot of times we get going, and then we get input or we get feedback, and we wonder why the negative response, why not the encouragement that I was expecting. Well, because your change may signify that they'll need to change, and they have to change in their life, and maybe they don't want to change. And so that's where they're, doing some things. So we're going to talk about just some of the ways that you can at least be aware of and what to do if you face that sabotage from somebody else in your world. So, and if you are facing a challenge of guidance, that's where I say head over to talktoperry.com. Let's book a call. Let's discuss some strategies that you can do to stay on track. And I do want to say welcome to another Power Blast podcast, where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge your mental and physical battery and reclaim your power. All right, here we go today. When you embark on, just say it, did I use the word embark? When you just start a health and fitness journey, you start to go, I find that it's a deeply personal decision to do so. Now, I get it. Sometimes people will bounce ideas off of somebody, maybe as a sounding board, to seem like, does this sound good? Can I get your input? But sometimes those close to us, even family members, may not understand or even support the change. And so here's this scenario. Maybe you've faced this before. Maybe you haven't. I know I have. And I don't think that people are necessarily going, oh my gosh, I'm really going to mess with this person. But they may offer you foods that really don't align with your eating plan. Or perhaps there's like little negative comments, little jabs, things like, oh, you've tried that thing before, and how long is this going to last until you're back to doing this? You know what? I ordered pizza tonight. Everybody's having pizza. You want pizza, don't you? And we'll say some things, or even, sometimes you get questions about why are you doing this? Now, I'm going back to when I started on my journey, and I was getting some pretty decent results. And my wife saw the results, and she was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to try what you're doing. And so she did. And as I was going through and getting in shape, there was a time in my life where I was making some changes, but it wasn't like midlife crisis change. It was just like, oh, I want to try a different haircut because I had kind of this long mullet hair sort of thing. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to, I think about growing the mullet stuff. Well, when I did that, what triggered in her thought was, well, why are you doing this? What's going on? Is there something going on that I should know about? And I don't know if she was hinting that I may be doing some extracurricular activities or something like that, but it was nothing like that. It was just, I wanted to change. I got to a point in my life where it was a tipping point where I made the decision, a committed decision, to turn things around. I decided to take responsibility for my actions of drifting so far off course. I'm like, if I can make those actions and get into the habits of drifting off course, I certainly can get into the habits of swimming back on course and getting, I don't know why it has to be swimming, but to get back on course, back on track and actually excel. And I did, and I turned things around like in probably about a 90-day period. But initially, it was one thing that just triggered it, and I was going for it. But it was that sort of question that she had said that almost a knee-jerk reaction. I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost felt resistance, a little defensive about it. So sometimes people fear your transformations and that you're going for and the dynamics of the relationship. And so, and I had that with, I would be eating on track, and there would be people at work that would, here's one thing I was very, very happy with. It wasn't like people were trying to disrespect or sabotage my eating, but there was a lady, a dear sweet lady. She would always bring in bakery or cookies or whatever. And she would come into my office and she would say, I know you're on an eating plan and you've got certain goals, but it wouldn't sit right if I at least didn't offer them to you. Would you like a cookie? Would you like a donut? I know you're probably going to turn it down. And I did. And I was grateful for that sort of insight, because not a lot of times people do that. A lot of times what people will do is, why are you changing? And try to do things that may tip the scale in their favor, that hopefully you'll give up this nonsense of this getting in shape sort of thing, or whatever it is, and come back to us. We like pizza night, we like drinking soda, we like the candy bars, we like all this stuff. And I'm just making stuff off the top of my head here, but the key is to recognize that the journey, your journey is about you. It's not about them. And I had to really lock into that, and really stick to what my goals were. I had a vision. I wasn't sure where it was exactly going to take me, but I just knew where I didn't want to go anymore. And if that meant I needed to delay some gratification stuff, gratifying, I guess is the word, where it's having cupcakes or treats at the lounge or whatever, so be it. It was just, I knew what sort of things would be triggers for me. And if I had that and I was going in and I started eating it, I'd probably have more. And then be like, oh my gosh, those are really good. I'll have another one. I'll have another. So that was just it. So it's really crucial, I find, to establish and communicate your boundaries clearly. And that's what I had done at work. People saw my habits. They saw that I lived up to what I was, my behaviors and my habits and my mindset. And it wasn't like, hey, I'm getting in shape, and then they see me hovering over the donuts in the teacher's lounge. They saw me own up to, having salads, having lean protein at lunch, stuff like that. But also letting people know that you appreciate that. And I think setting up those boundaries, even with your family members, and I know I'm talking about people at work, but just letting them know that you value their presence in your life and you need their support. There was I think is a really great thing, a great mindset part of this is, if you can put yourself in that position to say, well, I'm not asking for permission, I'm asking for support. So there's a difference there. A lot of times people think you've got to get permission to move forward with your goals. And you're like, no, I'm going for my goals. I'm not asking for your permission about the goals. I just want your support. At least they're understanding, right? And so that was just some of the things that as I went along, and I found that the more and more I was clear with those boundaries I set up, really understanding where somebody might be coming from, and being able to communicate that, and being able to say, you know what, this is an important goal to me. And while I'm not asking for permission, I would love your support and your motivation in helping me with this. So, we would get together for family events. And while my parents loved throwing big celebrations, especially at holidays, they would always say, you know what are some things, we're having this type of food. What are some things that how we can prepare it to where we know everybody will like it, but you'll also eat it. And it's not like they needed to make special meals for me, but then they started integrating and seeing how my change was impacting my life, and they chose to follow and do the same thing, not because I coached them or taught them to do it or told them to do it, but just from their observation and just an inspiration around it. So, and this is just the emphasizing the importance of self-belief and resilience and persistence too, right? So just remember, every step toward your better health, it's a step toward what I believe is a fulfilled life. And if you're feeling drained by negativity, let's revitalize that journey together. That's why I tell people, hop over to, and that's why I'm telling you, I open this up specifically for podcast listeners. So when I open this up and created talktoperry.com, podcast listeners and podcast viewers were the people that I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's have a conversation, right? So we can get on a free call to where you can focus on energizing your path to success. So in the end, this is your health and fitness journey. And while support, I think, is wonderful, self-motivation and commitment, those are really, really reliable allies. And sometimes, we can get into the self-sabotage stuff. And so we're like, we don't need anybody else around us to do, help us out. But just being aware of those things and embracing your journey and staying true to your goals and letting your progress be the force that silenced the doubters, that's what happened with me. I was like, I'm still on this. And then people are like, oh, you still on that thing? I'd be like, yeah, I'm still on that thing. I still have goals. I still have a vision. Oh, well, good for you. It'd be that way. Years later, they're like, tell me more about what you're doing. I need to change. I need to shift. I've been watching you from afar and you inspire me. So you never know who you're going to be inspiring by you staying true to yourself and your goals. And just know, you can choose to use your power and take control, or you can let external circumstances, justifying it, saying I'm too busy, letting all the limiting beliefs, having other people's input possibly sabotage those things. You can let those come in, control you, and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals, and then choosing to figure out new ways, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. And I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those down in the comments there. I will respond to those. I always do. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.